Good morning, students. Today we will start with the fifth chapter, Footprints Without Feet, by H.G. Wells from the Footprints Without Feet book. The title of the chapter is same as the name of our textbook. So, first let me tell you about the author H.G. Wells. H.G. Wells, he was an English writer. He wrote dozens of novels, short stories and works of social commentary, history, biography and autobiography. Now we'll discuss about the title. See, title Footprints Without Feet. It is a story about an invisible scientist whose footprints can be seen but his feet are unseen. So it arouses the curiosity of the occurrence of footprints without feet. Thus, it encourages the reader to read the story and find out the mystery of the missing feet. And the title, it builds the gripping, mysterious and interesting environment of the story. Let us talk about the theme. See, the theme of the story is that power without responsibility can be disastrous. What is the duty of true scientist? See, true scientist utilizes his invention for good of humanity, society, not for the benefit of any specific individual. And Griffin, the scientist whose story we are going to read, he misused his discovery by breaking law. How did he break the law? He stole clothes, food, money, and even he hurt innocent people to escape when they tried to catch him. So the story develops the idea that a man of science can have immense potential, but it can be destructive also. If the scientist works in the negative way, it can become destructive also, as we will come to know through this chapter. Now, let us talk about the characters. First, the main character is Griffin. Griffin is a brilliant and hard-working scientist who carries out endless experiments to discover the formula of invisibility. He finally succeeds in finding a rare drug to achieve this end. As a result, he misuses his discovery. Now, Mrs. Hall, she's a landlady of an inn at Iping. Iping is the name of a place, village. She is sociable and talkative person, very keen to be friends to strangers. She's a reasonably good judge of others' character. And the third one, Mr. Jeffers. Mr. Jeffers is a duty-conscious and courageous constable. He was assigned the duty to catch Griffin. So he keeps on fighting bravely to arrest the invisible man and does not give up till he is knocked down. Mr. Jeffers is indeed an epitome of dedication and commitment towards duty. Now, let us start with the chapter. The two boys started in surprise at the fresh muddy imprints of a pair of bare feet. And now the two boys, the author says, they started in surprise and at the fresh muddy imprints of a pair of bare feet. They could see the impression of feet, but no one was visible. They could see the impression of feet without a person, like no one was visible there. What was a barefooted man doing on the steps of a house in the middle of London? And where was the man? And now the boys, they said, that man, what is barefooted? Wearing nothing in feet. So what was he doing there on the steps of the house? And that too in the middle of the London. And where was the man? And they were astonished, they were surprised. They could see the footprints, imprints, impression, but the man was not visible. Only imprints of feet were visible. As they gazed, looked intently, ध्यान से देखना, a remarkable sight met their eyes. They saw a remarkable sight What remarkable sight did they see? This remarkable sight met their eyes. A fresh footmark appeared from nowhere. And all of a sudden, a fresh footmark could be seen. They saw the fresh footmark, but nobody was visible there. Fresh footmarks were there. They appeared, fresh footmarks appeared, but no one was visible. Further footprints followed, one after another, descending the steps and progressing down the street. Now new imprints were forming downwards the street. The boys followed, fascinated, until the muddy impression became fainter and fainter and at last disappeared altogether. The boys, they were so much curious. They were so much curious to know about the person whose footprints were there. So they followed those footprints. They were so much attracted. They were so much curious to know about the person. And they kept on following the footprints until those footprints became fainter and fainter. जब तक उनके निशान हल्के नहीं पड़ गए, and at last disappeared altogether. And altogether, what happened? All the footprints, they disappeared. The explanation of the mystery was really simple. And now, the author says the explanation of the mystery. What mystery? Mystery of footprints without feet. He says it was very difficult to understand. Mystery is secret or difficult to understand. The bewildered boys had been following a scientist who had just discovered how to make the human body transparent. And the bewildered is confused, puzzled. These boys, they were following the footmarks of a scientist who has recently discovered how to make the body transparent, how to make the body invisible. What was the name of that scientist? Griffin. Griffin the scientist had carried out experiment after experiment to prove that the human body could become invisible. And after trying, at last he got success in his mission, and he found the medicine through which the human body could become invisible. Finally, he swallowed certain rare drugs and his body became as transparent as a sheet of glass, though it also remained as solid as glass. Up now, the author says, finally, what did he do? He did that experiment on himself only. He ate that rare drug. He swallowed that rare drug which made the body invisible and he became transparent as a sheet of glass, though it also remained as solid as glass, and that was solid also as glass. Brilliant scientist though he was. No doubt, the author says Griffin, he was a brilliant scientist. He was a very talented scientist. Griffin was rather a lawless person, but he did not obey the laws. He always worked against the laws. Though it also remained, his landlord disliked him and tried to eject him. Now, even so, as he was a lawless person, so his landlord, he disliked him. He did not like Griffin, and he tried to eject him, means he tried to throw him out of the house. He wanted Griffin to leave the house. In revenge, Griffin set fire to the house, and in revenge, badla lene ke liye, what did Griffin do? As his landlord asked him to leave the house, so he set fire to the house of landlord. To get away without being seen, he had to remove his clothes. And after removing his clothes, he was invisible. If he used to wear the clothes, he was visible, and after removing the clothes, he was invisible. He could be spotted by the clothes he wore. If he wore the clothes, he would be spotted. Usko dekh sakte the. Thus it was that he became a homeless wanderer. Now, as his landlord asked him to leave the house, he left the house and he set fire to the house of the landlord, and now he was a wanderer. Wanderer is idhar udhar ghumne wala, the one who does not have home. So he was without home, he was homeless, and he was wandering, he was moving here and there, without clothes, without money, and quite invisible. He did not have clothes, he did not have money, and he was invisible. He was invisible because he was not wearing clothes. Until he happened to step in some mud and left footprints as he walked. Until, and this is, see, these were the footprints which were seen by the two boys. These were the footprints until he happened to step in some mud. And after leaving the house of this landlord, he was stepped in some mud and he left his footprints as he walked. He escaped easily enough from the boys who followed his footprints in London. And he escaped easily, वो भाग गया था आराम easily from these boys. But his adventures were by no means over. Adventures, what is adventures? Adventures is unusual and exciting, daring experience. But his adventures were no means over. But still, his adventures, they were still going on. They were not over. He had chosen a bad time of the year to wander about London without clothes. He had chosen bad time. Why bad time? This time is called bad time. Why? Because he had chosen winter time when he consumed this medicine. So he had chosen a bad time because that was the winter time and it was midwinter and it was bitterly cold at that time. So he had removed his clothes and he was feeling bitterly cold. He had chosen a bad time of the year to wander about London without clothes. And the author says he had chosen that bad time because it was extreme cold, it was bitterly cold, and he had experimented that and he applied it on himself. So that was a bad time because without clothes or only he was not seen, he was invisible. It was midwinter. The air was bitterly cold. It was extremely cold and he had to live without clothes to become invisible. And he could not do without clothes. Suppose why he could not do without clothes? Why he was because although his body was invisible and he could be spotted by clothes he wore. उसकी body invisible थी लेकिन अगर वो कपड़े पहन लेता था तो he could be seen. So after removing clothes only, he was invisible. And he was feeling bitterly cold because of that. Instead of walking about the street, he decided to slip into a big London store for warmth. Now he was thinking where to go. Now he decided to slip into means to move to a big London store for warmth. He wanted to move to big London store. Closing time arrived. Now the closing time of that London store arrived. It was the closing time of that store. And as soon as the doors were shut, Griffin was able to give himself the pleasure of clothing and feeding himself without regard to expense. And as soon as the doors were shut, as soon as the store, London store, it was shut down, and now Griffin, he was free. He was free. He was enjoying the clothing, feeding and everything. And that too without any expenses. He broke open boxes and wrappers and fitted himself out with the warm clothes. Now he broke the boxes and all that and he wore woolen clothes and he made himself warm. Soon with shoes and overcoat and wide brimmed hat. Wide brimmed hat means edge, hat with edge. He became a fully dressed and visible person. As I told you, after wearing clothes, he was visible. Now he wore the clothes to get rid of cold, bitterly cold, and now he was visible. In the kitchen of the restaurant, he found cold meat and coffee, and he followed up the meal with sweets and wine taken from the grocery store. And he ate many things, like he had cold meat, coffee, even liquor, and he was enjoying to the fullest. Finally, he settled down to sleep on the pile of quilts. What did he do after having food? He settled down on the quilts. Quilts ke upar he settled himself. If only Griffin had managed to wake up in the good time, all might have been well. Now what happened? Why this line? See, if only Griffin had managed to wake up in a good time, all might have been well. And now it was a time of morning, and the stores were to be opened. And now he was still sleeping, and the store was open. As it was, he did not wake up until the assistants were already arriving next morning. Next morning, he kept on sleeping. When the assistants they arrived in the store, he was sleeping. Then he saw a couple of them, and when Griffin saw the couple of the assistants, when he saw the assistants approaching, coming, he panicked. Panicked is he got scared and nervous when he saw the assistants approaching him. So he was very much scared and nervous and began to run. And he started running. He was wearing clothes, so he was visible, and he started running. They naturally gave chase. Obviously, they naturally gave chase, ran after both the assistants. They ran after Griffin. In the end, he was able to escape only by quickly taking off his newly found clothes. Now, to get rid of their chase, उनसे पीछा छुड़ाने के लिए, what did he do? He escaped. He wanted to escape, and what did he do? He took off all his clothes. And now he became invisible. So once more he found himself invisible, but naked in the chill January air. Now the same thing, same problem he was facing. That it was a time of winter and chill January air. And again he was invisible without clothes. He had to remove the clothes because the assistants of the store, they were chasing him. They were trying to catch him. So to get rid of them, he removed his clothes. And again he was feeling and he was facing cold winds. This time he decided to try the stock of a theatrical company in the hope of finding not only clothes but also something that would hide the empty space above his shoulders. Now he decided, what did he decide? He decided to move to some theatrical company, theaters, related to theaters, where the props are easily available. Just artificial mustache and all that. So he moved to the theatrical company, but also something would hide the empty. Shivering with cold, he hurried to Drury Lane. Drury Lane is a street. And what did he do? He moved towards the Drury Lane where this theatrical company was there. And the center of the theater world, where's the like as he was willing to move to the theatrical company to have some of the props so that he can cover himself to get rid of the winter cold wind, and he started moving. He soon found a suitable shop, and now he reached to the theatrical company shop. He made his way invisible. Now, like he was without clothes, so he entered the shop very easily. Upstairs and came out a little later wearing bandages round his forehead, dark glass, false nose, big bushy side whiskers, and large head. These all are the props. He entered easily in the theatrical company shop because he was not wearing clothes. That is why he was invisible. Now, as he entered there, he wore bandages. He managed bandage on his forehead. He wore dark glasses. He fixed false nose, whiskers, and all these, and large head. And he came out. Now, some of the parts of his body, they were visible, where he had wore all these things. To escape without being seen, he carelessly attacked the shopkeeper from behind. Now, as he was wearing this bandage, so that part was visible, nose was visible, and whatever the props he wore, that part was visible. And what he did, as he came out, because he wanted to move, so what did he do? Carelessly is cruel way. He attacked the shopkeeper in a very cruel way from behind, after which he robbed him of all money he could find. Now, what he did? He attacked that shopkeeper in a cruel way and robbed all the money he had, and he moved. See, this also shows that he was a lawless person. Eager to get away from crowded London, he took a train to the village of Iping. And now he was anxious to leave this London. Now he wanted to get out of London, crowded London. And what did he do? He took a train to the village of Iping. Iping is a village and he was willing to move to that place, where he booked 2 rooms at the local inn. See, inn is a small, sort of a, not exactly hotel, it is a sort of hotel. जैसे सराय वगैरह होते हैं छोटे, वहाँ पे. तो he took 2 rooms there, and the arrival of stranger at an inn in winter was in any case an unusual event. Why unusual event? Because in winters nobody arrived there in that inn, and this was quite unusual event because it was harsh winter. And how come this? Everybody was thinking, how come this stranger had come here? A stranger of such uncommon appearance set all tongue wagging. And of course, he was having uncommon appearance because he was not visible fully. The part which was covered with the props was visible. So, every tongues wagging means they were talking. आपस में जैसे बातें करते हैं ना, moving. So, see how strange person he is. Mrs. Hall, the landlord's wife, made every effort to be friendly. Up now, Mrs. Hall, she tried her level best to be friendly with that person, with Griffin. But Griffin had no desire to talk and told her, "My reason for coming to Iping is a desire for solitude." Mrs. Hall, she was very much interested to be a friend of Mr. Griffin. But what did Griffin say? He said that I had come to this place because I want to be solitude. Solitude is alone, because I want to live alone. Leave me alone. I don't want anybody's company. I do not wish to be disturbed in my work. And he said that I don't want any disturbance in my work, so leave me alone. Besides, an accident has affected my face. And after that, because his appearance was like strange appearance, because he was wearing that bandages, he was having that false nose, whiskers and mustache and all that. So he seemed to be strange, and he then cleared that he had met an accident. That is the reason his face has been affected due to accident. Satisfied that her guest was an eccentric scientist. Eccentric is strange scientist. And in view of the fact that he paid her in advance, Mrs. Hall was prepared to excuse his strange habits and irritability. See this Griffin, he was very short-tempered. जल्दी से गुस्सा आ जाता था. And he had strange habits. But Mrs. Hall, she just excused him from everything. Why? Because he paid the rent in advance. He paid her in advance. From where did he get the money from? From the owner of the theatrical company. Because we have read in the above passage that in a very cruel way, he attacked the shopkeeper and he robbed all his money. And that money which he had robbed, he handed over to Mrs. Hall, the landlord. And now, but the stolen money did not last long. Obviously, the stolen money, khatam to honi thi. It did not last long. And presently, Griffin had to admit that he had no more ready cash. Now he was left without cash. He did not have any cash. And now, the rent was again due. And when the owner of that inn, she asked for the money, he pretended. What did he say? He showed what? However, that he was expecting a check to arrive at any moment. That he's expecting a check. A check is supposed to arrive from somewhere, and after that he will be making the payment. Sorry, afterwards, a curious episode occurred. Very early in the morning, a clergyman and his wife were awakened by noises in the study. What is clergyman? Priest. Shortly afterwards, a curious episode. What episode occurred? Kya hua? What happened? Early in the morning, clergyman, priest and his wife, they were awakened by the noises in the study. There was noise in the study room. Creeping downstairs, they heard the chink of money being taken from the clergyman's desk. What did they hear? Chink. सिक्कों की आवाज आ रही थी. Chink. And they heard the chink of money from the desk of clergyman. Without making any noise and with a poker grabs firmly in his hand, the clergyman flung open the door. Without making any noise, what did he do? He picked a metal rod. Poker is metal rod with a handle. He picked a metal rod with handle and he moved towards that room. The clergyman flung open the door and all of a sudden he opened the room. Surrender. And now, as he heard the sound, but he could not see anyone. And he went there and he shouted to surrender. Then to his amazement, he realized that the room appeared to be empty. But he was surprised to see. Right now, he had heard the chink of the money, chink of the coins. But to his surprise, nobody was there. He could see no one. He and his wife looked under the desk and behind the curtains and even up the chimney. And now, clergyman and his wife, they started searching for the thief. But no one was seen. No one was there. There was not a sign of anybody. Yet the desk had been opened and the housekeeping money was missing. And the narrator says, the author says, see, nobody could be seen. Nobody was seen there. But the money, housekeeping money is regular expenses के लिए जो money, the money kept for regular expenses, that was missing. It was not there. The money all was missing from there. Extraordinary affair. What extraordinary affair? This is very important. Extraordinary affair means though money from desk was missing, still there was no one seen. No one seen there. The clergyman kept saying for the rest of the day that this was an extraordinary affair because money was missing from the desk, but no one was seen in the room. But it was not an extraordinary as the behavior of Mrs. Hall's furniture a little later that morning. But this is not an extraordinary. Now, what happened to Mrs. Hall's furniture will come to know in the next para. What happened? Her furniture, it was behaving unlikely. It was moving itself. Now, let us see. The landlord and his wife were up very early. Now, the landlord and his wife, who is the landlord? Mrs. Hall. And both of them, they woke up early and were surprised to see the scientist's door open wide. And they were surprised. Earlier Griffin used to keep the door shut. But now they were surprised to see that the door were widely open. Usually it was shut and locked. And he was furious. And if anyone entered he was furious. He was very much annoyed if someone entered his room. And that day, it was, for the surprise, it was widely open. The opportunity seemed too good to be missed. What opportunity? Now, they got the opportunity to move inside Griffin's room and they say that this was a good opportunity and they moved inside his room. They peeped round the door saw nobody and nobody was there. And decided to investigate. Now they started investigating the room. The bedclothes were cold, showing that the scientist must have been up for some time. And they touched the bedclothes, all bedsheet and everything. It was cold, and it seemed that the scientist, he had been out from some time. And stranger still, the clothes and the bandages that he always wore were lying about this room. And whatever the props he used to wear, that all the props, they were lying here and there. All of a sudden, Mrs. Hall heard a sniff close to her ear. All of a sudden, sniff is breathing sound. While breathing, the sound comes, that is sniffing. Mrs. Hall, she heard the sniffing sound. A moment later, the hat on the bedpost leapt up and dashed itself into her place. All of a sudden, Mrs. Hall heard a sniff close to her ear. Sniff is breathing. While breathing sound comes, that is sniff. All of a sudden, what happens? She heard a sniff sound close to her ear. A moment later, the hat on the bedpost leapt up and dashed itself into her face. Bedpost is wooden support given to the bed. There was a hat. What happened? That hat, all of a sudden, it leapt up and dashed itself into her face and that hat hit Mrs. Hall's face. Then the bedroom chair became alive. See, in the previous para, what we have read, Mrs. Hall's furniture, a little later that morning, it started behaving in an unlikely manner. So, what happened? Then the bedroom chair, the bed chair, which was kept in the bedroom, it became alive. It started moving. Springing into the air, it charged straight to her legs and foremost. And it hit to her leg. As she and her husband turned away in terror, and both of them, they were frightened when they saw the scene, that nobody was there, and still the non-living things, they were moving. So they were frightened. The extraordinary chair pushed them both out of the room and then appeared to slam and lock the door after them. And what happened? All of a sudden, the chair, it pushed Mrs. Hall and her husband out of the room, and then the door, it slammed. Slam, it means it shut, the door shut, and the door was locked. Mrs. Hall almost fell down the stairs in hysterics. Hysterics means wildly emotions, like she was like astonished. She did not, like she was thinking, what is this happening? What was all of a sudden, what was this happening? So she was like wildly, she became in emotion and she fell down from the stairs. She was convinced that the room was haunted by spirits and that stranger had somehow caused these to enter into her furniture. And she thought that this room was visited by ghosts, and this stranger, he is the main cause for this, and the ghost has entered her furniture. My poor mother used to sit in that chair, and the chair which was like which pushed them out of the room, and she says that chair, on this chair, her mother, she used to sit. She moaned, to think it should rise up against me now. And she said, like the chair, like it has become against me. That chair has become against me, and that chair has hit them. The feeling among the neighbors was that the trouble was caused by witchcraft. And everybody else in the neighbors, they said that it is the impact of magicians. Some magic sort of things had happened. But witchcraft or not, when news of the burglary at the clergyman's home became known, the strange scientist was strongly suspect of having had a hand in it. Now everybody suspected, when they came to know about clergyman's burglary, that there was a theft in his house. So everybody like suspected this strange scientist. He is the main culprit. He might have done something. The strange scientist was strongly suspected of having hand in it. That he might be the scientist. He's the main culprit, and he has done. Suspicion grew even stronger when he suddenly produced some ready cash, though he had admitted not long before he had no money. Now, if you remember, in previous we have read in previous paras, one of the para we have read that he was left with no money when he came. So he has attacked that person of theatre, and he has robbed all the money from him, and he handed that money to Mrs. Hall as a rent of inn. And he told that he was not left with any money, and his check was about to arrive. Now, but everybody now suspected, like everybody was in suspense. Right now he was like, before some days he was saying that he did not have any money, and where did he get the money? Now the feeling among the neighbors that was trouble, yes, the strange scientist was strongly suspected. Suspicion grew even, and the suspicion, it grew stronger when they came to know that he was having ready cash, though he had admitted previously that he was left with no money. The village constable was secretly sent for. Now, Secretly, they called the police, village constable. He was called. Instead of waiting for the constable, Mrs. Hall went to the scientist. Now, meanwhile, what did Mrs. Hall do? She went to the scientist, Griffin, who had somehow mysteriously appeared from his empty bedroom. And from his empty room, he has appeared. Who is the Mrs. Scientist? He came out. I want to know what you have been doing to my chair upstairs. Now she asked the question. Tell me one thing. What you were doing with my chair? What you were doing with her chair? She demanded, and I want to know how it is you came out of an empty room and how you entered a locked room and how. Now she was puzzled and she asked the question. How did you came out of an empty room and how you entered a locked room and the room was locked? How did you enter that room? The scientist was always quick-tempered. Quick-tempered is like jaldi gussa aana. Always he was very short-tempered. Now he became furious. You don't understand who or what I am. You don't understand who. He shouted, very well, I'll show you. Okay, you have not understood about me. Who am I? I'll show you who am I. Suddenly he threw off bandages. What he did? He took off his bandages, whiskers, whatever the props he was wearing, spectacles, and even nose. He took off everything. It took him only a minute to do this. And while removing all these things, it just took a minute. And everything was removed. He removed each and everything from his body. The horrified people in the bar found themselves staring at the headless man. And now, see, he was wearing clothes, but the props which was he wearing, like bandage, nose, eyes, nose, whiskers, mustache, he removed all those props and everybody was like horrified people in Iping. Everybody was astonished to see that. Everybody was frightened to see that there was a man without head. Headless man. Mr. Jeffers, as I told you earlier, Mr. Jeffers, incorrectly I told you, he was a police constable. Now arrived and was quite surprised to find that he had to arrest a man without a head. And he was surprised that he had to arrest a headless man. But Jeffers was not easily prevented from doing his duty, and he was very much dedicated towards his duty. If a magistrate's warrant ordered a person's arrest, then that person had to be arrested with or without his head. Now he says he had to follow whatever he has been told. So he said, if the magistrate has ordered a man to be arrested with or without head, so he will do it. There followed a remarkable scene as the policeman tried to get hold of a man who was becoming more and more invisible, and he threw off one of garment after that. And now, what did Griffith do? Now, as a constable, he had come to arrest him. He started removing. Now, Griffin, he started removing his clothes one by one. And as he was removing the clothes, he was becoming invisible. Finally, a shirt flew into the air. And finally, he threw his shirt into the air. And the constable found himself struggling with someone he could not see at all. And the constables, he was so much dedicated towards his duty that he still kept on fighting. He still kept on struggling to catch that scientist. Some people tried to help him. They tried to help the constable, but found themselves hit by blows that seemed to come from nowhere. Now they were getting good blows. They were getting good blows, but nobody was seen. From where the blows were coming, they were not able to see. In the end, Jeffers was knocked unconscious as he made a last attempt to hold on to the unseen scientist. And in the end, what happened? Jeffers, the constable, he was hit by this invisible scientist, Griffin, and finally he fell down unconscious. Jeffers, he fell down unconscious. There were there were nervous, excited cries of hold him, and everybody there standing there, everybody became frightened, nervous, and they were excited, and they started shouting to catch Griffin, to hold Griffin. But this was easier said than done. कहते हैं ना कि to hold an invisible man, it was easier said than done. No one there. Now they were not aware where or to whom to hold. किसको पकड़ना है. कहना आसान, बोलते ना, बोलना आसान और करना मुश्किल होता है. तो but this was easier said than done. It was easier said than done, and no one knew where or whom to hold. किसी को ये नहीं पता था किसको पकड़ना है, because nobody was seen. Griffin had shaken himself free. Up now, and no one knew where to lay hands on him. He was free. He was free from constable's grip and villagers. How did he become free? He removed all his clothes and he became invisible. And he was now free, and no one knew where to lay hands on him. And nobody knew from where to catch that person, Griffin, the scientist. So, this was the end of the chapter. And what message do we get from this chapter? See, through this story, Footprints Without Feet, the author wants to convey the message that absolute power corrupts and should always be given to the responsible ones only. Besides, every achievement should be accompanied by a deep sense of responsibility and commitment. The author describes the life of Griffin to tell that scientists can make life easier and better with the help of their inventions. But if these intelligent minds fall on the destructive path, the damage caused would be immense, would be too much. अगर उनका दिमाग destructive की तरह चल जाता है, तो they can go to any extent. They can destruct even the world. So now this is the end of the chapter. Hope everybody has got the chapter. If you face any problem, you can call me and do all the question answers, textual question answers from Literature Companion in your notebook. Thank you. Goodbye.